What is up, my dudes? I know it's been a while, but I thought I would do a continuation of sorts to my 7 albums that got me into death metal with the 7 albums that got me into thrash metal. Thrash is an interesting genre for me because it's the first one I got into, and I was still kind of like all over the place getting into metal. So there's some albums on here that are going to be like no-brainers, and there's some other ones that are going to be kind of weird. But anyway, let's kick it off with numero uno. Of course, Metallica, Master of Puppets. This is definitely the first Metallica album I had picked up after hearing the Black Album as a little kid. And this is kind of like got me into it. And right when I heard Battery, I was like, holy fucking shit. Yeah, pretty much every track on here is amazing. Leper Messiah might be the only one that I'm kind of eh. But yeah, this album is just top notch. Everybody knows about it. Is Metallica overrated? Yes, but I still love this album, and Damage Incorporated is one of my favorite songs of all time, and definitely my favorite Metallica song. So yeah, for the second one, we're going to continue with the big four third studio albums with Anthrax's Among the Living. After I heard Metallica, Master of Puppets, when I was trying to get into thrash metal, Anthrax was another band that kept coming up. And I picked up this one and listened to it, and I fell in love immediately. The title track, Among the Living, is probably my favorite track off of this thing, although NFL and I Am the Law are fucking amazing. And then you got classics like Caught in a Mosh and Indians. It's Among the Living, it's Anthrax, it's fucking amazing. Yep, another classic. Okay, now this is going to be a little different because we're not doing any classic normal albums that I would usually recommend or somebody would recommend for thrash. And I'm going to go with my local boys here, Havoc. Yep, I'm from Colorado and so are these guys, so gotta represent there. I saw Havoc in 2018 and they were supporting the Conformicide album, and before I went to the show, I had to check out this album since I only really heard like Cradle to the Grave. And yeah, immediately, Hang 'em High was like my fucking jam for so long. And me and my friends went to that show and it was awesome. It was so cool. And it was probably the first metal show I went to that was like legit metal. All the tracks on here are pretty amazing. Master Plan, Ingsoc, Intention to Deceive is amazing. Circling the Drain. I mean, this is just, to me, this is one of the classics. So, Havoc, Conformicide. Moving on, this is going to be kind of a weird pick, but who opened for Havoc was a band called Extinction AD, and they fucking ripped when they opened. They're from New York City, and they put on a stellar show, and then I picked up the CD at that same Havoc show, and Legions of the Grave, Decimation Treaty, the title track, and I think Rats in the Attic. Yeah. I mean, every single track on here is pretty good, but those ones really stuck out to me. And yeah, this is kind of like one of those albums where I'm like, wow, this is like new, but it's where it started for me. So Extinction AD, Decimation Treaty. Continuing on with the classics, we're going to go with Megadeth, Rust in Peace. It's fucking Rust in Peace. What more do you want me to say? It's the greatest Megadeth album ever made. If you disagree, you're wrong. Anyway, I think Five Magics and Tornado of Souls have always held a special place in my heart, but it got Hangar 18, which is fucking amazing, and, you know, Holy Wars, The Punishment Due. Do I really need to say anything else? I guess this would technically be crossover, but for me, this is still counts. So we're going to go with Stormtroopers of Death, Speak English or Die, the first Stormtroopers of Death album. Scott Ian, Charlie Benante of Anthrax did this with the original bass player for Anthrax on their first record, Dan, and I forget his last name, so I'm sorry about that, and then Milano as the singer. Anyway, yep, every single song in here is amazing, so politically incorrect, so fucking all over the place and silly, but god damn it, I love this album. Amazing riffs. When it wants to be fast, it's fast. When it wants to be funny, it's funny. It's definitely just like one of those albums where once you hear it, you can't get enough of it. Yeah, we're going to end off with the final big four band here, Slayer. I'm choosing God Hates Us All. So, yeah, I heard Rain and Blood after Master of Puppets, but it was too much for me. I couldn't deal with it. Yeah, it was just too heavy. But then I heard Disciple from one of my friends or something, and I was fucking blown away. That, like, my edgy teenage God-hating mind was just, like, blown away. So, obviously, it was off of God Hates Us All, so I picked up the album, and I listened to it, and every single track I instantly fell in love with. If you watched my Slayer video, you know this is my #1 Slayer album. It just holds a special place in my heart. Every single song is fucking amazing, in my opinion. It's just one of those albums that just totally changed my life. And so, yeah, Slayer, God Hates Us All, as my last one. Those are my 7 picks for the albums that really got me into thrash metal. After I heard these ones, I got into Exodus, I got into Sepultura, I got into fucking, all kinds of other shit. But anyway, yeah, so let me know what albums you heard that got you into thrash metal. How do you feel about my picks? So on and so forth. Let me know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Stay heavy.